As a part of my MASH retro reviews, I have watched Season 1, Episode 7, Bananas, Crackers, and Nuts. Before I get into this review, I do need to give a content warning as a sensitive topic will be discussed later on in this video. I'll remind you of that when we get to it. But to begin with, the premise of the episode. Hawkeye and Chopper are trying to get some R&R. That's the premise of the episode, and they need to convince Frank that Hawkeye has gone crazy or somewhat crazy and he needs some relaxation to actually get worse because Henry is away on his own R&R. Anyhow, Margaret convinces Frank to bring in a psychologist. Unfortunately, it's not Sydney Freeman because that would have been a way better episode, but that's gonna be maybe season 2. We still got a while before we meet Sydney. But anyhow, they bring the psychologist in, and I think he could tell Hawkeye is faking parts of it, but he still thinks parts of it is legit. I know, but regardless, as part of Hawkeye trying to convince people that he's gone crazy, there's, I would say, 2 good, funny bits. And the first one is a dog in post-op. It's just funny. It's also cute when the dog takes the breathing mask off. And okay, I'm not a big dog person, but I will admit that was a cute scene. I don't even know if they directed the dog to do that, but I just like that they included that, because the dog probably just did it naturally anyhow. Then there is another one where it's in the mess tent, and Hawkeye comes in full surgical garb, and he has brought in liver. They're serving hamburgers, so Frank wants to know where the liver comes from. Hawkeye says, "Oh, is that North Korean that's deceased?" Yeah. Now, I don't think it was actually that in-universe, definitely not from filming purposes, but in-universe in the story, was Hawkeye and Chopper probably just bought liver from some Korean farmer, whether it be beef, pig, or whatever, I don't know. That's probably what it really was, but Frank doesn't need to know that, and that's the important thing. But Margaret thought, let's bring in a psychologist. Well, that psychologist does conclude that, okay, I'm going to take Hawkeye away for some psychological observation in Tokyo. Which at least that's where Hawkeye wanted to go, but the problem is, he only wanted to go there for a weekend pass or something like that, for some R&R, not for psychiatric observation. That does, though, lead to the best joke, in my opinion, of the episode, where Hawkeye is being discussed between Frank, Margaret, the psychologist, and Henry. And the psychologist says, we'll do the best we can in referring to getting Hawkeye better and back at the 477. And Henry says, it's the army, no one can do their best. And I just love that joke. If you watch any military humor on YouTube, or if you ever worked with, for, or somehow involving a government, whether that be federal, state, or local, you'll get that joke. It's I think, very common among those circles, and that type of humor. It's just a fun joke, and I really, really loved it. Unfortunately, it's all after this that the episode really starts going downhill, and this is my content warning. Sensitive subjects, lack of consent. I had this exact same problem with the film, where 2 characters are manipulated into a situation where they have an encounter, and neither of them have the correct situation awareness to give proper consent. So Hawkeye decides to discredit a psychologist so he gets to stay as the 477. So Hawkeye stays as the 477 to make clear. He ropes Radar into this. Convinces the psychologist that Margaret is interested in him. Yes, they did have a fling at one time, but it's clear that Margaret is not interested in pursuing a relationship with him. But anyhow, they turn the lights off in Margaret's tent and switch the signs so he thinks he's going back into the guest quarters. Then switch it back so that when Margaret goes back into her tent, like thinking all is normal. And then things go downhill from there. And it's this lack of consent. They have an encounter that Margaret was not willing to partake in. She had no consent to this situation. And he knew what he was doing, but he was being relied on by false info that was manipulated to him as part of a plan to discredit him. Now, granted, I have a feeling he might have, if he thought he could do it anyhow without being manipulated, he would, but that's not the point. The point is, he had a mistaken impression of the situation and made the wrong choice, and Margaret was totally a victim of this, not knowing what's going on. And it's not played near enough as problematic as it actually is. It's just icky, and it really destroys the rest of the episode. In all honesty, it just destroys it, makes it not, I just skipped through that scene. I knew the scene because I've watched this episode before, and so I just every couple of seconds moved along, just because I didn't want to watch it because it was icky. It's wrong. The movie was somehow at least a little better. No. It's just a bad scene overall, and picks and really draws from one of the bad elements of the movie as well, lack of consent. Yeah, it's just bad. It's probably my least favorite episode of season 1. Well, it probably has that one, basically the army we're doing the best one. Not really joke. Okay, that's probably my favorite joke of season 1, but it's in the worst episode so far of season 1. There might be a worse one, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see, because it's been a while since I watched season 1. I normally watch the later seasons. So yeah, this episode, despite having a really good, funny joke, it's just a terrible episode with an icky plot point at the end. I really just don't like it because of that. But I guess I should open up to you guys. What did you think of this episode? Do you agree with my assessments? Do you agree with how icky the second half of the episode really is regarding consent? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell to stay up to date on my future Master Retro reviews. Also, consider liking the video. It feels weird to ask it, given what the video is, but like it to show that, you watched it, I guess? I don't know. Kind of a weird video to ask for liking. At least subscribe is like, hey, I got other videos that you may be interested in. But anyhow, I do want to say thank you for watching my review, and of course, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one. Bye! Thank you for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like, as well as subscribe to my channel and ring that bell to stay up to date on my latest content. Also, be sure to check out the link tree in the description, as well as any other links I have down there.